So something really unfortunate has happened to the commentary community. What started out as a small confrontation between a small commentary channel and the Minecraft aficionado Dream has now escalated into a drama that encompasses an entire community of content creators. For those of you who are unaware, a few days ago, a commentary YouTuber by the name of John Swan made a couple of remarks regarding stands and more specifically Dream stands after posting an edit of Trainwreck's TV Scuffed podcast, which featured both Dream and the YouTuber/streamer Moist Critical, and clips from Moist Critical's The Official Podcast, where Critical kinda says that Dream was acting douchey and cocky. And in this tweet, John Swan basically says, wow, Dream is kind of a douche. Naturally, some of Dream's fanbase took this, negatively. It wasn't exactly a very positive comment, and they showed their aggravation quite clearly in the replies of that tweet. And eventually, John Swan finishes up by saying that, sarcastically stating that the stands have changed his perspective on stands and stand culture. This tweet would eventually be posted to the r/DreamWasTaken2 subreddit by user 303 needs to be, titled, "What a way to milk the drama." The post was basically talking about how a few of Dream's fans felt like John Swan was kind of milking the Stan controversy that popped up around Dream a little while prior to kind of advertise his new videos, which if you look at the tweet, he actually advertises a collaboration he's doing with another creator in the same tweet as he's complaining about stands. And in the thread of this post, Dream would make a statement that, quote, "This guy is bad news. A while back, right after I interviewed with him for a Minecraft documentary, he changed his profile picture and name on Discord to mine and started DMing people pretending to be me. He sent people the N-word and a lot of other stuff, as well as said sexual stuff while claiming that it was me, and giving his main Twitter to vouch, where he would then, from his main Twitter, vouch that it was me and say that we are amazing friends and link the documentary to prove it. Once I confronted him about it, very nicely given the circumstances, he said that his friends had hacked his account and done it. I didn't reply to him and unfollowed him, and I don't think he's super fond of me since then." Now, it should be noted that the event that Dream is describing happened at approximately a year before the post was being made, and the post itself is not very popular. In fact, when John Swan would eventually be made aware at the post would only have approximately 21 upvotes, which in the grand scheme of Dream's popularity is not really a significant number. However, John Swan would shortly hereafter make a post on his Twitter stating that Dream was attempting to slander him and that he would set the record straight, with the reason for his response being that he thinks that Dream is just kind of sitting on this information to one day bring it up again in an attempt to damage his career. John Swan would, through a combination of Twitter threads, eventually describe a story through which he would go to a family friend's house and be approached by a younger individual whose relationship to him he would never actually describe. He would then go on to say that that person asked him about his process with making videos, and in response, John Swan would log onto his Discord at that family friend's house and begin showing the younger individual screenshots and Discord DMs. However, after leaving that friend's house, John Swan says he forgot to log out, and that individual, being younger, immediately hopped onto his account and would start messaging and harassing creators under his name. After Dream would bring up the harassment to him, Mr. Swan would then disable his Discord on every account that's not his, and he would regain control of his account. Dream would respond to this thread asking why John Swan felt the need to make this more public, despite the fact that he technically was the first person to bring it to the public's attention. The two would eventually agree to settle out this little drama on a small program known as Drama Alert, which is known for its unbiased content and fabulously thoughtful, definitely not obnoxious and loud for content host, Keemstar. At this point, it's fairly widely known that Drama Alert is just where creators go to brawl it out about useless bullshit that nobody really cares about, but in this situation it was relatively important because Dream, if he was lying about the situation, would be attempting to slander John Swan. And as John Swan is a commentary creator, it would be detrimental to his career if people thought he wasn't trustworthy or, more importantly, credible. On the other hand, if John Swan is lying about the event, it would be detrimental to both his image and his ability to further create content in the style that he'd been doing, as it mostly relies on the trust of other content creators. On the day of this Drama Alert throwdown, however, things did not go quite as planned for John Swan. as Dream, who very rarely streams, or at least streams like once every couple months, started a 56-minute stream to 300,000 people discussing the drama and the evidence he has against John Swan and why he thinks that John Swan is lying. It was not like this stream was a knockout punch, however, it was more like childish entertainment as Dream kind of goes down a rabbit hole about John Swan while Pink Panther music plays in the background. While on surface level, this appeared to be no more than an information dump, not really providing anything to either side, and if anything, giving John Swan some ammunition to call Dream hypocritical. As Dream had previously called out John Swan for bringing the information public, and was now broadcasting it to a significantly larger audience than the Twitter audience that would have known about the event. However, somewhat suspiciously, John Swan would drop out of the Drama Alert debate, with his reason being that Dream's Twitch stream means John Swan would need to develop new arguments against some facts that Dream had brought up. The drama between Dream and John Swan would be quiet for a couple more days until John Swan would release a link to a Google Drive on his Twitter known as My Response to the Dream Accusation. In this document, John Swan would attempt to go through all of Dream's arguments and questions as to certain things that Swan did and said that didn't quite add up to his story. While some points in the document were relatively well done, a majority of them seemed to go nowhere and instead kind of peddle around Dream, either overreacting, forgetting, not remembering the events properly, or simply blowing things out of proportion, as John Swan would state has done before to smaller creators. John Swan would say on his Twitter that this is the last thing he would actually discuss about the drama and that this document would be his final remarks regarding it. However, a few perceptive individuals that read the document would take note that he did not actually succeed in putting down any of Dream's accusations, and if anything, some things looked a little bit more incriminating, such as the fact that at one point in the conversation between Dream and Swan regarding the hack, Swan also stated that his YouTube had been hacked, and in the document attempted to backpedal on this statement, saying that he actually meant Discord instead of YouTube and that was a mistype. However, if you think about it, a content creator would basically know the difference when stating an account has been hacked, as it's very serious towards their case, and especially in regards to harassing another creator. Once again, things would be quiet for a couple days until yesterday evening, when Swan would reveal in a Twitter document that he was lying. The floodgates were open. He admitted. He said that shit. He did that shit. He said he did that shit with 6,000 subscribers and a friend of his when they were dicking around on Twitter, and he panicked when Dream confronted him about it. In response, he made up this lie about his account being hacked, and ever since the post on Reddit, has basically been panicking, digging himself into a deeper and deeper lie. Yes, it appears that John Swan has forgotten the sacred rule of lying, that being that the best lies are believable, simple, and short. Instead, he has formulated this pile of steaming horse shit which is both unbelievable, incredibly long, and stupidly complicated. His confession reads as such: "Hello everyone. As a commentator, my credibility is important to me. Unfortunately, I have let you all down. There's no excuse for what I did, and I take full responsibility. I wish I could have made a video, but I'm currently traveling and not in the position to do so. I was messing around on Discord about a year back with a friend of mine. I had 6,000 subs and I thought nothing of it. This somehow got back to Dream, and I didn't expect it to. I panicked, I told a lie, and I thought it would never get brought up again. I was wrong. Dream's Reddit post came out and I was completely in shock. I panicked again and made my thread. Digging myself into a deeper hole, I thought it would look really bad if people thought I was impersonating a YouTuber, even though it was so small and inconsequential at the time. But I understand now that lying about something on as big a scale as this is indefensible. Time after time I messed up. I should have just said it was me all along, but I didn't. I dug myself deeper and deeper, and I got caught up with everything. I lied about a massive content creator, and I'm sorry. There is no excuse. There is no need to defend me. I was brutally wrong, and I am sorry for lying to you all. I am especially sorry to Dream for everything I did. Lying at the expense of someone else's credibility is one of the worst things a creator can do. Once again, there is no excuse. I understand if this makes you lose respect for me. In fact, I'd be shocked if it didn't. I messed up on such a large scale that I don't know if I'm capable of anyone's forgiveness, but I will try my best to earn my respect back. I have let you all down. I am ashamed and disappointed in myself, and I am sorry. I will be taking off time from all social media to process everything. I will return at some point, but I don't know when. In the meantime, stay safe and healthy." Note that John Swan also deleted all of the documents where he was defending himself, including the My Final Response Google Drive doc, of which I've saved, because I was planning to do a video on this anyway. John Swan would then add on to this tweet by saying that, "I also want to apologize to the people that stuck their neck out to defend me. People like Nick, Augie, Blowbacks, Tipster, Optimus, and others. I lied directly to their faces and put everyone's credibility in danger. I didn't consider how this might have affected them, but I should have. Once again, there is no excuse for what I did." Dream would respond to the apology, saying, "Thank you for the apology and confession." And that would be the end of Dream versus John Swan. Now, there's a lot to unpack about this entire drama, but there's just a couple of important things to get out of the way first. The first thing is that John Swan's credibility as a creator has been irreversibly damaged. Lying about something and then proceeding to lie to defend the lie is a childish act, and we can all acknowledge that this damages both his image and the way he must interact with people in the future. On the other side of this dime, Dream is not a saint. He took this public. He probably could have discussed this privately, but it did come out publicly. Now, I'm not saying he's a monster for bringing people's attention to this. In fact, at some point, I imagine it would have happened anyway, outside of that Reddit thread. However, I do feel like the Twitch stream was perhaps a little misguided, especially considering the fact that previously he had belittled John Swan for bringing the information public anyway. So it's a bit hypocritical, although nothing too bad. Additionally, a lot of other commentary channels, and especially John Swan's friends, stuck their neck out for him, believing his lie wholeheartedly in defense of his career, and their credibility has also been damaged as they endorsed a massive lie. Some creators have even received some unneeded and perhaps unwarranted hate due to this event, such as the content creator Kavos, who did an interview with Dream regarding the drama and asked some very difficult questions, which there shouldn't be any problem to, because with a drama of this size and magnitude, and the fact that we basically had two content creators with their credibilities on the line against each other, difficult questions need to be asked in order to expose the truth. At the end of the day, Dream came out victorious and John Swan lied, but in another world it could have been the other way around. So we must understand that randomly attacking people based on the questions that they asked is not correct. And if you feel the need to go and attack a creator simply because they asked questions, perhaps you need to reevaluate your position, and more importantly, your attitude on the internet. Finally, we must discuss how this affects the commentary community as a whole. The commentary community is made up of hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of channels who rely on people believing what they say in order for them to have any standing, and more importantly, any momentum as a channel. Because John Swan lied, and he is in fact a fairly large channel, not massive, but large enough to be significant in the grand scheme of things, this puts the credibility of all other commentary channels under the microscope. Many of these channels have very passionate people behind them who work very hard to get the full story and speak truthfully about whatever they're commentating on. Unfortunately, this drama between John Swan and Dream, which although started out small, will now have major repercussions with the entire commentary community, as hundreds of thousands of people's first exposure to the commentary community will be through this one instance. Now, the last thing I want to talk about involving this little drama is the fact that John Swan did confess. Now, he should be credited with the boldness of confessing. He is going head to head with probably one of the biggest content creators on YouTube right now, and was strong enough to actually say that he did anything wrong. He could have sat on his lie and buckled down on it, and everybody would have kind of shrugged their shoulders, been suspicious, but nobody would be sure. I mean, Dream can play Inspector Clouseau all he wants, but unless he has any hard evidence, which he didn't and still doesn't, people on Twitter would be arguing about this little drama for weeks, probably, until it eventually either fell into obscurity or everybody came to a conclusion, and knowing Twitter, it probably would have fallen into obscurity. So good on John Swan for confessing, but we're still going to need to hold him accountable. Here are some final thoughts from me. This is probably the worst way to approach any kind of drama on the internet. Lying is already bad enough, because the internet is full of sleuths and people who are way smarter than you are. So eventually, you will be figured out. And lying to protect your lie is a terrible way to approach that you've done something wrong. I mean, if a dog shits in your living room, you don't solve the dog shit by piling up more dog shit. It just makes the situation worse. I would like to finish off this topic with a little line from the My Final Response Google Drive doc. This is from John Swan. He says, "The sad thing about this drama is that I don't have a big slam down at the end to prove Dream wrong and take home the decisive W, because it doesn't exist. Hi, thanks for checking out the video. If you liked some commentary stuff like this, make sure to leave a like and leave a comment on what you enjoyed. And if you don't, feel free to give me shit. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.